Today we're talking about congruent triangles using the postulate for hypotenuse leg. So our essential question is, how do I use the hypotenuse postulate to prove triangle congruence? So proving triangle congruence. Remember that to prove two triangles congruent, you need to show that a specific ordered combination of corresponding parts are congruent. So it has to be a specific set in a specific order. So for right triangles only, we can prove triangle congruence using hypotenuse leg. So the H stands for hypotenuse, and the L stands for leg. So if the hypotenuse and one of the legs of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding, remember that means matching, corresponding parts of a second triangle, then I can say the two triangles are congruent. So recall for right triangles that this is the hypotenuse and that the two sides that are part of the right angle are called the legs, and that the hypotenuse is always the side directly opposite the right angle. It's also the longest side. So looking at our example here, if QS, that's our hypotenuse, QS is congruent to TV, remember to go the same way, so order is important. And if our leg, QR, is congruent to TU, then I can say that triangle QRS is congruent to triangle TUV. There are other right triangle congruence theorems that you might see on the ACT, but they are just special cases of the other four postulates that we talked about: side, 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 angle, side. So we're going to look at those just as a reference, but you can still use one of the original three-letter combinations. So leg, leg, remember the legs are the opposite. But if you look at this is just side, angle, side. So two letters must have a right angle. Three letters can be any angle combination. Leg, angle, here's our leg, and here's the angle. But if you'll notice, that's just angle, side, angle. So just because it has a right angle doesn't mean that I can't use one of the other postulates, but the hypotenuse leg postulate is specific to right angle triangles. And the last one is if I have a hypotenuse and one of the acute angles. But again, if you look at this, this is angle, angle, side. So we're just going to focus on hypotenuse leg, but there are cases where you can use one of these special two-letter postulates, but you can also use the three-letter postulates because they still apply. So we're going to look at these triangles and decide if they're congruent. So for these examples, they're all right triangles. So then I have to decide if I can tell if they're congruent. So for number 1, I have a hypotenuse and I have a leg. So I can say that these are congruent by hypotenuse leg. For number 2, we're only told that one side is congruent besides our right angle. But because of our understanding of angle properties, I know that those two angles are vertical, which means that they are congruent. So now I have angle, side, angle, or I have leg, angle. Excuse me. So I can use either one, either leg angle or angle, side angle. For number 3, I have 3 angles, but because I don't have any sides, I have no way of saying that this is congruent. Only angle measurements is insufficient to determine congruency. For number 4, I have an acute angle and I have a side, so I can say that this is congruent by angle, angle, side, or by hypotenuse angle. Number 5 shows me both of the legs. And again, I know that this is a right angle as well because these are vertical angles. So I can say that this is congruent by leg, leg, or side, angle, side. The final one, I'm given 2 angles, and I know that these angles are congruent because they are vertical angles, but all I'm given is angle measurements. And we know that angle measurements are insufficient to prove congruency, so these triangles are not congruent. For the next 4 questions, we're looking at what additional information. So what else would I need to know if I want to use hypotenuse angle? I already know that those angles are vertical angles and congruent, so I don't have to state that. So then all I need to know, because that gives me my angle, so all I need to know are that those 2 sides are congruent because those are the hypotenuse. So I need to know that XD is congruent to XW. Because I already know that these are vertical angles, I don't have to be told that, but I do have to be told that those 2 sides are congruent. Number 8 asks us to use leg, leg. I'm given one leg. This is the other leg. So all I need to be told is that JH is congruent to US. Remember how important order is. So I went towards the right angle both times. That's the order of my statements to be able to have them line up correctly. For number 9, I need leg angle. So what am I given? I know that this is congruent using the reflexive property. But then I need another angle, so I need to know that angle K is congruent to angle T, or I need angle TSR congruent to angle KRS. One of those two is what I need to know. And I have to go like this because I don't need to know about the right angle. I need to know about the acute angle that's there. I know that SR is congruent to RS because of the reflexive property. The last one is hypotenuse leg. This is my hypotenuse. It's the side across from the right angle. So then I just need to know one of the legs. So I either need to know that BA is congruent to LM, or I need to know MK is congruent to AC. So I need to know one of those two pieces to prove congruence. So when we're looking at right triangles, there are some specific shorter postulates that we can use. Remember that postulate is just a fancy word for rule. But for many cases, I can use the ones that we've already done to determine congruence between triangles of any sort, including right triangles.